I am continuing my reading. What I'm doing in this series is to read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a bit as I move along. Hosea chapter 12. The Lord uses prophets and visions and similitudes to guide his people, but they become rich and will not wait on the Lord. Ephraim provoked him most bitterly. Ephraim feedeth on the wind, and followeth after the east wind. He daily increaseth lies and desolation, and they do make a covenant with the Assyrians, and oil is carried into Egypt. The Lord hath also controversy with Judah, and will punish Jacob according to his ways, according to his doings will he recompense him. He took his brother by the heel in the womb, and by his strength he had power with God. Yea, he had power over the angel, and prevailed. He wept and made supplication unto him. He found him in Bethel, and there he spake with us. Even the Lord God of hosts, the Lord is his memorial. Therefore turn thou to thy God, keep mercy and judgment, and wait on thy God continually. Now let's talk about this for just a moment. Ephraim, says, feedeth on the east wind, so he is turning to Assyria instead of to God. Judah, we have our controversy with Judah as well. We have our issues with Judah as well, and they will eventually be destroyed. But then we have this kind of history lesson here. He took his brother by the heel in the womb. This is the birth of Jacob and Esau, as described in Genesis. Because, when they were born, Esau came out first, but Jacob came out holding Esau's heel. And then God gave him power over his brother. So by his strength, he had power with God. It says he had power over the angel. Remember, Jacob wrestled with an angel before facing his brother again. When he returned to Canaan, he wrestled with an angel. He found him in Bethel. That's where Jacob had his dream of the ladder going up into heaven. So this is saying, look, your father Jacob, he was with God, and God has chosen you through him. Verse 7. He is a merchant. The balances of deceit are in his hand. He loveth to oppress. And Ephraim said, Yet I am become rich. I have found me out substance. In all my labors they shall find none iniquity in me that were sin. And I that am the Lord thy God from the land of Egypt will yet make thee to dwell in tabernacles, as in the days of the solemn feast. I have also spoken by the prophets, and I have multiplied visions, and used similitudes by the ministry of the prophets. Is there iniquity in Gilead? Surely they are vanity. They sacrifice bullocks in Gilgal, yea, their altars are as heaps in the furrows of the fields. And Jacob fled into the country of Syria, and Israel served for a wife, and for a wife he kept sheep. And by a prophet the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt, and by a prophet was he preserved. Ephraim provoked him to anger most bitterly. Therefore shall he leave his blood upon him, and his reproach shall his Lord return unto him. Again, we got a little history here. Even though you were chosen, even though Jacob, the prophet Jacob, is your ancestor, you have become deceitful merchants. You have oppressed people. You have sought for money. You have sought for substance rather than the Lord. You have multiplied your altars, your idolatry. And then again, Jacob fled into the country of Syria. This is not metaphorical. This is a reference back to Jacob and Esau. When Jacob fled from Esau, he went into Syria. His father-in-law Laban was known as a Syrian because he lived in the land of Syria. And he says he served for a wife. For a wife he kept sheep. This is him serving those 14 years for Leah and Rachel. And then we get our reference to Moses. By a prophet the Lord brought Israel out of Egypt. And by a prophet was he preserved. That's all probably a reference to Joshua and the conquest of Canaan. This whole chapter is God saying, look, from the beginning, I have worked through my prophets. I have sent them visions. They have used similitudes. They've done all these things to teach you and guide you and keep you on the right way. But you have rejected the prophets, and in rejecting the prophets, you have rejected me. And today, what do we have? We have the prophets. God has given us prophets. Prophets to lead us, to guide us. And people today are rejecting the prophets again. Even in the church, there are many who are rejecting the prophets. And just like Hosea is saying here, Israel, you are condemned for rejecting the prophets. Those today who reject the prophets, will receive the same condemnation as Israel. Now, I'm not saying they're going to be taken captive into a foreign land, but they're going to be condemned. because God works through his prophets. That is the evidence of the Bible. That even in the day of Hosea, he's saying, look, God works through prophets. He always has. He always will. You can't reject God's prophets and not suffer the condemnation. Anyways, 2 more chapters left in Hosea, so we'll see you there.